What is good, everybody? Welcome back. Another live stream. We are here. Huge day for crypto. Bitcoin, crypto altcoins, bulls versus bears, FOMC meeting. We've got Trump meeting with China tomorrow. Man, the list just goes on and on about what's happening right now. We've got Bitcoin at crucial price levels. Definitely going to be watching this all day long. We've got our crypto breakfast club at the 9:30 mark in about 8 minutes. So we'll be starting the space up. We'll stream it live for you guys. We're on with VeChain tomorrow. Deep dive into VeChain's ecosystem. We'll be talking about altcoins tomorrow. Same time, same place. So a lot to get into, guys. Go ahead and share the stream if you haven't already. Got a few minutes here before we start the space, so I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the things we're looking at across the board, some of the big storylines out there right now in crypto. You know, we saw some new ETFs go live. One for Litecoin, one for HBAR, one for Solana. We'll get into a little bit of that as well. And we'll take a look at the overall cryptocurrency market as we near closer and closer to market open. Let me know if you guys have questions. Fire them away in the chat. Love hearing from you guys. Drop them all down there in the comments. Let me know where you guys are coming in from as well. Smash the like button on YouTube. Share the stream if you're on X. Let's go. Let's get a bunch of people filing in here. It's a beautiful time to be in the markets. There's no doubt about it. And let's go ahead and jump into the overall price action first and foremost. Why not? Let's get into it here. Take a look around the horn here at some top assets. Bitcoin, of course, we got to start there. Up at 113.5 right now. Definitely kind of in limbo, but we're range bound on Bitcoin. No harm, no foul here at these price levels on BTC. ETH is back up over 4,000. XRP performing a little bit better than Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. It's actually up over 10% in the last week, too. So XRP, the best performing asset right now in the top 10 over the last 7 days. The only double-digit gainer is XRP in the last 7. You've got Bitcoin up about 5%, ETH up 4%, BNB up a little bit. You do have Solana up 8%, but look at XRP. Up about 10.5% right now of the cryptos in the top 10. That is the best gainer right now in the cryptocurrency market. So we've got a pump going on Trump. The Trump meme coin is pumping. So that's been happening over the past few days. World Liberty Fi is coming up a little bit too. That's up 20% in the last week. Caspa making a nice little run. Up about 18% in the last 7 days. The Pi Network up 37% in the last 7 as well. And in terms of top gainers in the last week, though, Virtuals Protocol leading the way. Humanity Protocol, that was a new one that burst on the scene. Trump meme coin up 45% in the last 7 days. You know, I mentioned this on X. What do you guys think's happening with the Trump meme coin? Do you think this is real? Do you think it's, who's actually pumping this right now and why? Kind of interesting what's going on there with the Trump meme coin. But, is it organic? Is it insiders? What do you guys think? I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of both. There's probably a little retail FOMO, but mostly maybe insiders propping this thing up. We'll see what happens with the Trump meme coin. Maybe it's pumping up because, the Trump-China deal getting close. So, listen, all is well, though, because Bitcoin is still in a positive upward trend. And that is honestly the most important thing right now. We need Bitcoin to be structurally okay. That is going to lead us into the altcoin season, the altcoin market that we want. Without Bitcoin, we're not going to get an altcoin market. So I don't care if you hold Bitcoin or not, we should be rooting for it right now because structurally we need Bitcoin to be there for us at the top. All right, let's get into some of the top storylines here across the space. We saw new ETFs for Litecoin, Hedera, HBAR, and Solana all go live. And together they hit $65 million in the first day of trading. It was led by Bitwise's Solana fund with 56 million in volume. So that leaves only 9 million that came into Litecoin and Hedera. But of course, this is 24 hours in. We did see HBAR have a nice pop in the price. Definitely got a nice pop in the price there on HBAR. But, what I'm looking at here with Solana in particular is this staking feature within these ETFs. This is going to be massive. Staking inside these ETFs with Ethereum, with Solana, this is going to be big. The big institutions are going to love this. They're going to be able to earn passive income on billions of dollars. So good morning to everybody out there as well. Let me put myself back up here. There we go. Coming in from Ohio. What's up, Shane? Good morning from Arizona. What's going on, man? Hope you're having a great morning. Yes. What's going on, everybody? Appreciate that for reposting the stream. Definitely helps us out. Let everybody know we're here on X, YouTube. Wake them up here. Wake them up this morning. Wake them up. What's up, Priest? How we doing, man? Have a great day. You too, brother. You too. Crypto Priest in the house. What's up? Lawrence Cole, HBAR, LFG. Yeah, loving it. So Bitmine added 113 million in ETH to the treasury, lifting total holdings above 3.3 million ETH worth 13 billion per on-chain data from Arkham. Bitmine is Tom Lee's company. They continue to go absolutely parabolic with their accumulation of Ethereum right now. It's crazy. SharpLink will deploy 200 million in ETH on Consensus's Linea L2 using EtherFi and EigenCloud for staking and restaking yield. So that's a pretty big deal. SharpLink, another one of those digital asset treasury companies for Ethereum. Prenetics raises 48 million to grow its Bitcoin treasury and expand Beckham-backed IM8 brand, targeting 1 billion in BTC. 1 billion in BTC. Securitize is set to go public via 1.25 billion SPAC deal with Cantor Fitzgerald. Crazy. Western Union set to launch USDT stablecoin on Solana in early 2026 to power faster digital payments and remittances. Trump-backed Truth Social partners with Crypto.com. We covered this yesterday to launch Truth Predict, letting users trade event contracts on major topics. Coinbase Prime and Figment expand staking to Solana, Cardano, Sui, and other networks, surpassing 2 billion in institutional staked assets. Stablecoin payments for goods and services surged 70% since the United States regulation, reaching $10 billion in August. And Ethereum's Fusaka hard fork activates on final testnet Hootie, paving way for mainnet launch in December with peer DAS upgrades. So that's what we've got around the horn here in terms of some big news. Taking a look at some small cap plays. Let's see, anything moving here this morning? Nothing too crazy. The Trump meme coin's really the big storyline in the meme coin market too. That's been a retail mover now for the last couple of days, so we'll continue to track that. The Trump meme coin making some nice headway here. World Liberty Fi is one that I, got a little stake in. I liked it at these price levels when it came all the way down to, 13 cents is where I scooped it. You look at the all-time chart, we're down 67%. Our all-time lows is down at 9 cents when we launched. Actually, no, take that back. It was on the flash crash we got down to 9 cents. That's crazy. So I picked some up around 13 cents. I'm up a little bit on that trade. I do think they're going to pump this thing up in some form or fashion. It's just Trump's going to find a way to pump that thing. That's what I think. But it's one of the many altcoins that I own. But it is time for the Crypto Breakfast Club. If you guys don't yet understand or know what we're doing with this, we host a space every single day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 11:30, Crypto Breakfast Club. If you guys are just watching me on YouTube, make sure you're following me on X too. We set up the space on my personal page today, so we're going to go ahead and fire that thing up here. And guys, stay locked in with us. If you want to stay right here on the live stream, going to be great. We're going to dive into it. We're going to have a lot of great people joining us. It should be a ton of fun. So Yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to set the stage here, set the space up, and we're going to get things rocking and rolling here this morning. Big day, FOMC meeting later. That's going to be a huge, huge deal for us. Obviously, that's something we're watching very, very closely. Will we get a 50 basis point cut today? That would be crazy, right? That would be nuts. We're getting penetrated this October, but hopefully things flip and we can all take profits soon. Yeah, I mean, altcoins have been weird, to say the least. It's not like 2021, though. I've been trying to tell people this for a long time. This is a completely different environment. You got to adapt. You got to change with the times. You can't just be stuck in 2021 days. Everything's not moving all at once. Things are moving in pockets here and there. But let's go ahead and fire this space up here. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. All right, let's get this thing up and running. All right, space is cooking. Let's get our banners set up here. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you guys coming in at a great time. We're getting ready to get things rocking and rolling here. Yeah, audio dropped off a bit. I had to move my mic over a little bit. Hopefully it's still solid enough. You know, here I can move this mic a little bit this way. That should help a little bit. Let me know if that helps, RW. That should help a little bit. But I do want to make sure that everybody can hear everybody on the space too. We're trying to pull in audio from everywhere. I'll get a little closer to the mic too. We'll do one of these. That should be a little bit better. Let me know if that's a little bit better. That should help us out a little bit. Okay, yeah, that should help us. Let me know if that kind of helps out a little bit. That should make us a little bit louder. But I want to pull in this audio from here too, so. All right. Appreciate everybody being here. Share the space if you haven't already. Share the room. Share everything. Let's go. All right, guys. We're going to get ready. You guys are watching on YouTube, watching on X Live. We're getting ready to start the actual X space here. So let's get into it. Welcome in, everybody. Crypto Breakfast Club. We are back. Another one here. We are live on YouTube, live on X, guys. Huge day for the markets. Bitcoin and crypto altcoins. Just waiting for a big decision from Jerome Powell. Bulls versus bears. Man, there's so many people on the timeline bullish, so many people on the timeline bearish. I don't know what to think. You know, I guess I'm preparing for all scenarios, but I'm bullish right now. I'm bullish, at least for these next, 60 to 90 days. I think we're going to see some fireworks in the altcoin market. We had 3 ETFs go live. We're going to dive into all of the top storylines for you guys. Welcome in. We've got a bunch of people live with us already on YouTube, live with us on X, and big space tomorrow with VeChain. Pumped up about that as well. But guys, come on up and grab a mic, and let's get to it. Definitely grab a microphone here. I am going to pull up a couple top storylines to get us started here. And the people on YouTube, people on X, kind of already heard me run this down quickly. But if we take a look at some of the top storylines, guys, we've got those new ETFs went live for Litecoin, HBAR, and Solana. They captured 65 million in first day trading, not too shabby. Led by Bitwise's Solana fund with 56 million in volume. So Solana got a huge portion of the day one revenue there. So the one thing about Solana and Ethereum ETFs now with the staking features, this is going to be a game changer. The staking features are going to be a game changer. The institutions gonna freaking be able to get 7% on their money. That's going to be ridiculous. So I expect the Solana ETF to do extremely well. I think that we're going to see a lot more ETFs too. But let's get some people in here. We got Paid coming up, Breakfast Club coming in here too. Bitmine added 113 million. This is Tom Lee's company. Bitmine added 113 million in ETH to the treasury. And people ask, why are you still bullish in this market? For all the bears out there, I'm still bullish because we just had 3 new ETFs go live. We had 113 million added to the ETH treasury. That's lifting the total holdings now above 3.3 million ETH. Not $3.3 million, 3.3 million ETH. My man Tom Lee, in like 3 or 4 months, has accumulated $13 billion worth of Ethereum. He's on track to gain 5% of the overall supply. He's going to do that in like 4 months' time. So why do you think somebody like Tom Lee's accumulating this much Ethereum at these price levels? Wouldn't you believe that it's undervalued? This is kind of what I'm looking at, right? In terms of, especially at the top, Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the top assets. These are, to me, the biggest indicators to watch. If digital asset treasuries are buying $113 million worth of Ethereum at these price levels, I don't think we're going to go into a deep bear market anytime soon. I'd be shocked, right? So we've got that going on. This is all coming from Arkham Intelligence. Good source, by the way. SharpLink, another ETH treasury company, they're getting set to deploy 200 million in Ethereum on Consensus's Linea L2 using EtherFi and EigenCloud for staking and restaking yield. So we've got that happening. So again, some more big players making some big moves. We got another public, a company going public, Securitize, set to go public via $1.25 billion SPAC deal with Cantor Fitzgerald. That's crazy. Western Union announced yesterday they're launching a stablecoin on Solana in early 2026. Then we had the news with Trump yesterday and Crypto.com. They're launching a Truth Predict market, which is going to let users trade event contracts on major topics. Coinbase Prime expanding their staking options to Solana, Cardano, Sui, and some other networks. Man, it's crazy, man. Speaking of stablecoin payments for goods and services surged 70% since the United States regulation, the Genius Act, went through, reaching $10 billion in August. So just tons of great upgrades. Of course, we got some huge potential catalysts, one being today, the FOMC, the other with Trump and China deal coming. The Trump meme coins pumping again. Jesus. I don't know why. I don't know if it's organic or it's insiders or it's both, but that thing's taken off. It's up 17% right now. That's the leader in the top 100. The Trump token sitting at $8.40. So welcome in, guys. Appreciate you being here. Share the room if you haven't already. A bunch of people live with us on YouTube and X too. Shout out to everybody. Share the space, share the room wherever you are. Let's get some folks in here. Paid, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Yo, GM, guys, share the room. We're live once again. The greatest show in the morning is the Breakfast Club. What the hell? The Crypto Breakfast Club. Yo, guys, next week we're in Florida, outside of Miami, because technically it's not Miami, it's Hollywood. So come hang out with us. That's gonna be a blast. We got some stuff we're working on in the back channels right now to have a little fun down there. But Zach, I don't have much today. I'm just working with his decks, man. Trying to get it launched by Friday.
How do you not have much when there's so much going on in the market right now, Pete?
Listen, sometimes, Zach, you got to take a step back and breathe and relax. You can't be always so in-depth in what's going on in the markets and looking around, because day by day, it's not going to change. Your Bitcoin's not going to go from wherever we are right now to 300K, right? So sometimes you got to take a breather, It's good for the mental health.
All right. Ben, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah, I can sort of see where Pay's coming from. It's a lot of stuff like just about to happen with the market, not like right now. So it's more like a waiting game. But yeah, no, things are looking pretty good here. Nvidia stock is also, they're up about 4.5%, 5% on the day in pre-market trading. I think they're releasing their earnings later today. So I know it's crypto and everything, but crypto does typically fall in suit with that one stock or Microsoft or tech stocks like that. So yeah, for a $5 trillion company to be up 4.5%, 5% of the day, that is quite a bit. It's at all-time high. So that the crypto and Bitcoin has not quite been affected by that yet this morning. We're still kind of at yesterday's levels. But yeah, we'll see. Got a lot going on here with the market. Obviously, or interest rate, that's later today. I was a little bit thrown off in the market when BTC went down from 115.5 to 112 yesterday. I'm assuming just pre-interest rate cut announcement jitters. We do usually see that. We'll see. I think after the announcement today, it'll probably will be at 115, 116. And then if we can hold there, then I'm bullish as I have been bullish. I think we're just going to kind of slowly creep up every day. If after the announcement we're back down at 112, 113, then we might need a couple more weeks, I'm thinking. But after a few more weeks, then we're going to start pumping. But I think we'll be at 115, 116. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, the tariff deal, we haven't heard anything about that in about 4 or 5 days with China. So that's it's tough to say if that's a good or a bad thing. Could be like, okay, haven't heard any bad things, so it's a good thing. But then again, the market hasn't really pumped as a result of not hearing anything. So the deadline for that, supposedly the informal deadline, is November 1st. What's that, Saturday? So that's got to be resolved soon. Government shutdown, day 29. Last time was 35 days, which I think might have been the longest in a while or ever. So that's got to be resolved soon. I'm seeing a lot of headlines. Government employees are getting annoyed with that, and they want it to be resolved, so it can't go on forever. So that's almost certainly going to have a positive effect on the market. And then, yeah, I mean, with the interest rate stuff, it's obviously, Powell does know that his job is kind of on the line, so he has to kind of be cutting interest rates and have sort of forward-talking language where he is, going to be bullish about more interest rate cuts. His behavior, his actions in the past have shown that he does want to keep his job, and he has to go along with what Trump is saying. So I think we're going to have, definitely more interest rate cuts. That should be a good thing. So we shall see. I'm a little bit surprised NVIDIA's huge pump this morning has not had a flow-through effect on crypto, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely bullish. I'm very looking forward to seeing where we are this afternoon, this evening, after the interest rate announcement. That probably is late morning, early afternoon Eastern time. I think it happened last time. So we shall see. And yeah, Tom Lee, as you mentioned, he just keeps buying more and more. That is good. Obviously, because if he buys a lot, he's just very unlikely to sell it. I think you're right. He holds 3 or 4% of the total ETH supply right now, 3% or something. So that's a good thing. The more, obviously, I'm a believer when you have a lot of the supply of any coin in some whales who are, for the most part, trustworthy and they're very unlikely to sell. I think that's a good thing. Supply control. Bullish in that as well. But yeah, that's what I got this morning. Who else? Anyone else can hop in right now?
Love it, man. Any chance of a 50 basis point rate cut today? What do you guys think? Do we have any chance of that happening?
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that. They don't. So Powell does not like to sort of scare the markets in either a positive or a negative way. He doesn't like to surprise the markets, you could say. Yeah, he obviously definitely doesn't like to negatively affect the markets, but he doesn't like to really pump it either. I notice they always like to have it in expectation. So unlikely. It'll be more about the forward talking language afterwards. It'll be a little bit more interesting. Unlikely, but yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know what the odds are on the poly market side of that, but that would, I think, be what shocks the market. I mean, obviously, no rate cut would very much shock the market. I don't think that's going to happen. But, then the question is how much of this is priced in, because, I mean, it's been like a 90 to 98% chance of a rate cut for a while. So how much of it is baked in? I think what you said, Ben, is important, though. I think it's more so, assuming we just get a 25 basis point rate cut, maybe a little bit of a pump, but still stay within range of where Bitcoin's topped out at here locally, whatever, 116-ish, right? I think that makes sense. But it's more so about the temperature in the room for the future. I think it's more so about, does he give us anything for what's to come the rest of 2025, right? And oftentimes, what's said there is actually more important than the decision itself. So I believe that. I think the market prices in the decision unless, it goes against the grain or something like that, unless it's something, out in left field.
Yeah, in the past, we've definitely seen it priced in. This time, it's definitely talked about less, this interest rate announcement, as opposed to the last time it's all anyone was talking about. So it didn't, after the announcement, it kind of just stayed at the price where it was, which was at a pretty good level. But then afterwards, I remember it did start rising each day a little bit. So that's what I would expect here. And then again, the fact that people aren't talking about it nearly as much, that could have a more positive effect because, when people, it gets priced in a little bit less when people just aren't talking about it as much. But yeah, I think it's definitely about the forward talking language. That's what we're definitely going to be looking for here. And it's every 6 weeks, these interest rate announcements, there's always jitters around them. So once they're just over with, that's in itself is just a positive thing, even after the forward talking language. So you don't have to worry about it for another 5-6 weeks. So we'll see on that.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to highlight too, just back on this BitMine thing, I went back and listened. Tom Lee and Arthur Hayes were recently on that Bankless podcast, and I went back and listened to that last night at the gym and listened to that whole conversation. Man, they are bullish on their price predictions for the end of the year. And this was just, a couple weeks ago that they had this podcast. Both of them said $200,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. It sounds outrageous. Can we get all the way there? It seems crazy. Then they also both said, 10 to 12K Ethereum. I will say one thing about Tom Lee. If you don't agree with his price predictions, you think he's outlandish. He's putting his money where his mouth is. 113 million added in the last 24 hours in the ETH treasury there. He's got 3.3 million Ethereum now, worth $13 billion, which is insane. And he's got goals of basically capturing 5% of the Ethereum supply. And then that news from SharpLink, which is another Ethereum treasury company, deployed 200 million in ETH on Consensus's Linea L2 using EtherFi and EigenCloud for staking and restaking yield. I think it's been kind of surprising how fast we've seen the Ethereum treasury companies take shape here. That's been pretty impressive when you take a step back. Bitcoin makes a lot of sense, but as soon as these Ethereum treasury companies started popping up, BitMine has gained a lot of ground in a few months. Ever since they went live. It's been like literally a few months. And they've got 3.3 million ETH, worth 13 billion already. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it sounds like Tom Lee, you would think he'd been buying up ETH forever, but no, it's been less than a year, and he's already accumulated, between 3 and 4% of the supply, several billion, and he's aiming for 5%, so he's definitely putting his money where his mouth is. Obviously, a guy like Tom Lee isn't exactly turning down headlines. He's not one of those people, no. He likes his headlines, but he's definitely a net positive by far for the industry. 5% of ETH supply in his control, that's definitely a good thing. And Michael Saylor's been kind of toning down his predictions in recent years. He does all the podcasts, he goes to the conferences, he's contributing to the industry definitely in addition to buying it. He's buying it at much lesser levels. But he's toned down the predictions. Tom Lee, he seems to kind of be picking up where Michael Saylor left off, but on the ETH side rather than on the Bitcoin side. It's definitely a good thing in my opinion.
What else do you guys think in terms of altcoins? Where do you think this whole thing's going? Do we have to make a move from now until the end of the year? It's just there's so many different predictions out there. Like, oh, this thing's going to be all the way into 2026. We could see a Bitcoin drawdown, all the way back down to James Wynn says all the way back down to 70K, and we're still in an uptrend. I was listening to the space a little bit last night. It just feels like it's chaotic in terms of people's predictions right now. It's all over the place. And maybe that's because we've just never been here before. We've never been in this type of environment, this type of market with the institutional demand. Is this time different? Or if altcoins are going to run, like, we need it to happen sooner rather than later? I don't know who wants to jump in on that saga. We got you here. What do you think, man?
Honestly, I feel like there's not enough time this year for altcoin season to kick in, but it is my first cycle. But I think we go into Q1 of next year. That's my personal opinion, which just means I got more time to get dry powder and continue to DCA. So I'm remaining positive about the market, but I just don't see this parabolic run happening, in the next 2 months. Especially with all these perps trading, and like I ended up getting liquidated on Sunday. It just seems like these dexes and centralized exchanges with perps trading just go up and down to liquidate longs and shorts all the time, which is taking liquidity out of the market.
Yeah,
That's my thoughts.
I see what you're saying, Mike. What's up? Yeah, as far as altcoins, so like I was listening to Benjamin Cohen's podcast. One thing I agree with him is obviously, it's been about 9 months since we've seen an altcoin season. It's been a while. That's a little bit more, indecipherable. It's very tough to predict that as opposed to just kind of the top 5 coins when they're going to start rising. Yeah, I mean, if altcoins don't start pumping by mid-December, I think they will. If they don't, then for the last several years, I've not seen altcoins, crypto really do anything from mid-December to mid-January, late January. So I'd have to assume this year just isn't going to be that. It's not going to be different. People are just way too distracted. Holidays, Christmas shopping, holiday parties, all that stuff. It's just, the regular stock market never pumps during that time. Crypto hasn't the last several years. So then it might be pushed back till late January, February. We'll have to see. I do think altcoin season is coming at some point relatively soon here. That's much tougher to predict than just the market going up in general, because it's been 9 months. In the past few years, we've been seeing 2 to 3 sort of ridiculous altcoin seasons, just the trenches come alive and all this stuff. Now we're going on 9 months, so it's sort of uncharted territory, tougher to predict, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just been a weird kind of flow. I feel like the temperature in the room right now from a lot of retail holders, they're just sitting there saying, we're waiting. But then at the same time, certain altcoins have made big moves. I mean, so it's been kind of one of those markets where, buy and accumulate Bitcoin, you're doing well there. Pick the right altcoins and trade them well within the last couple years, then you're doing okay. But if you're just sitting there holding spot bags, it's been frustrating. And I think a lot of people probably expected it to look like 2021, where we had the blow off top, where everything, just moved all at once. You could be blindfolded, throw a dart, hit bullseye, and you were in the clear. Do we still get that? I don't know. I mean, I don't think so personally. I think this is totally different because of the institutions, and certain retail investors that have been here through and through. I think if they're having success, they've adapted. They've changed their strategy. I think you have to right now in order to survive. But SPX, what's going on, man? SPX, you there? All right, let me kick it over to Zach. Zach, what's up, man?
Morning, how's it going?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
It's ranging sideways.
Chop, chop, chop.
Yeah, I keep hearing we're back. I keep hearing it's over. So we're in that mid-range.
I think that's what's confusing right now. It's like there's so many differing opinions. I mean, for the ultra bulls, there's ultra bears at the same time right now. I don't know what it says about the market, but it seems a little chaotic in terms of just the polarized thoughts.
Right.
Zach, you were right about yesterday, the market going down a little bit from a technical standpoint. I'll give you credit there.
We're out of money. That's why people are trading leverage. We're at the end of the bubble.
Tyler,
that's why they're begging for quantitative easing. That's why they're begging for a 2% interest rate. They need some more money to gamble with.
Are they going to print? Are they going to turn the printers on or what?
Only after they collapse it.
So how far do you think we go down if they collapse it? I mean, what's a collapse? Is it down to...
We need to grab the lick to the north like we did for that day at 126. So whenever you see that, that'll be the indicator of the turn.
So we're going to go up. You think we're going to go up, touch 126, and then come down?
I mean, they can cut the shorts. They did that last time.
If we come down, are we coming down to 97?
First stop is 98.
98.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been calling that too.
I mean, if you got a couple whales willing to buy a spot and get tons of slippage, that's fine too, but that hasn't happened in a while, Most of the treasury companies you're talking about are doing OTC. They're not buying spot. They're not buying on the order book.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's not impacting prices at all.
Things are not like they were before, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, if we would have saw a spot buy of that much
If Tom
ETH,
Lee would have done spot buy for that ETH would already be at 12,000.
yeah, which is crazy. But isn't that a positive thing? I mean, in the long term for ETH?
You're asking for something that's not supposed to happen. You're asking for manipulation of price indirectly.
It's just
OTC is
amazing.
not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to exist.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that
It's
he's
like
accumulating.
Bitcoin Lightning. It's like an L2 sandbox. It's not supposed to happen. We're supposed to trade it openly.
Yeah, but now we find ourselves in this situation. So, like, how does it change our approach as retail investors? I mean, so eventually,
You just hope Daddy CZ puts the bots in the right direction and we go that way.
All
We
right.
are fully dependent on Binance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tyler, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Just a couple thoughts. The altcoin season, I don't know when it's going to happen. I do know it's going to happen, but I'm just still preparing for it right now, just doing what I can to load up on my conviction plays. And I mean, because I remember last cycle, it was almost like everything was like going up parabolic. It was pretty crazy. I do remember that. Will I think it will be like that this time? Probably not. I think you have a better shot in the top 100. Definitely in the top 20. But as for like Bitcoin going down, I do believe it's going to go down in the 90s. Like I don't think we're going to go up quite right now. Not long term at least. I think we're going to go down.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is just totally different. Benjamin Cowan just posted, this is interesting. Current stresses in the money market accounts will likely cause the Federal Reserve to announce an end to quantitative tightening. So that would mean...
End of quantitative tightening does not mean quantitative easing, to be clear. I keep hearing the Maxi say that, by the way.
So Zach, what exactly does that mean that Benjamin Cowan just posted?
Well, that would be good for altcoins, right?
The insinuation is incorrect. The insinuation is that end of quantitative tightening, that means quantitative easing, but that's not what that means. That just means they're going to change how they're doing things, not they're going to do more things. Yeah. It's different. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So the end of quantitative tightening doesn't necessarily mean the start of quantitative easing.
There you go. Correct. I made the example yesterday that just because Daddy got a big bonus doesn't mean we're all going to do Universal Studios.
That's fair.
Just because they get a change doesn't mean they're going to use it. It's a thing.
Mutasco, what's going on?
He would say the beginning of quantitative easing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I wonder if and when. Like, do you think CZ is in now talks with Trump? I was wondering this the other day, right? Like after the pardon. Like, I wonder if they're going to now, that whole thing was done because now they can work together to basically do whatever they want with the crypto market.
I assume CZ was an agent of management this entire time, since the very beginning. He used to work 0.04 miles away from Trump at Bloomberg, so I'm going to go with he's on the take.
Interesting.
Yeah, the pardon's interesting. So it could go either way. It also could have just been like, sort of a spot decision by Trump, because in the week or two beforehand, obviously we'd seen OKX, Crack, and Coinbase had listed BNB tokens. So obviously when it comes to pardons, usually you wait to the end of your term as a president. So if you get criticism, you don't have to deal with it. But a pardon right in the middle, then that's more like a sort of you got to take the temperature of the room and, society, and are people like pro. So obviously in the week or two before, he'd seen, okay, all these huge entities in the space like Coinbase and Kraken, they're giving public acceptance to the Binance Smart Chain, but listed BNB token. So, okay, they're fine with CZ, so maybe it's a good time to do a pardon. Or it could have been the exchanges that heard in the back channels in the week before a pardon is coming up for CZ, so we're okay to list the coin, so we're going to list it now. I know most of the people think it's the latter. It still could have been the former. I'm undecided myself.
We were there. We watched the timeline as it happened. The minute he tweeted, I might be pardoning CZ, like the minute it was real, not just the rumors, was the $1 trillion wick.
So, Zach BTC, do you think that the exchanges had heard in the weeks prior that a CZ pardon was coming, and that's why they listed BNB?
They listed BNB shortly after that to save face because people were talking shit about Binance for days, and Binance was having a massive outflows. They lied and said they're having inflows, but that was just from their cold wallets. So in general, so the whole shakedown was 17 billion. 12 billion of that, I believe, went to Binance, and then they had outflows of 20 billion. So it was kind of like a fuck you to Binance, respectfully. And then like, wait a minute, no. So they moved stuff out of their cold wallet into their own wallets, into their main wallets. At least that's what one of the posts said. But long story short, the sentiment was extremely bad on Binance. And they had to go on this, tour of like, hey, everything's fine, everything's okay. Like, look at this, look at this, and then CZ and the lady CZ, I forgot her name. She's the other one, the other person at Binance. They had to go on like engagement comments tour, and just literally we're just in everybody's comments, talking crap, so on and so forth, just trying to pretend they could shit post and so on. You know how it goes. So in general, Coinbase and Binance have the same seed investors. A lot of the same aligning institutional seed investors. People forget that. Like, institutions have been here the entire time. They help build the rails. They help build the infrastructure. They help build the brokerages. They help build the TradFi, quant firms, high frequency trading, all of it. All of this is all TradFi's product every last minute. They also subsidize the energy costs across the ecosystem for mining, but we'll get back to that in a minute. But in reality, what had happened was the sentiment got terrible, and management said Coinbase list Binance now. After 12 years they haven't, and they just decided right after the sentiment collapses on Binance and they see massive outflows, they're going to change their mind and say, oh yeah, we're going to just list them now. No, they're listing them now because they have to list them now, because if they don't, they'll lose all face. It was a save face moment, respectfully. The kids have to play together, you know what I mean? One of them has chicken pox, go play together. Kidding. Respectfully.
Yeah, sorry, I think I was on mute there. Yeah, Coinbase and Kraken are big about what's good for the industry. So even though CZ and Brian Armstrong are direct competitors, they want what's good for the industry. So when all these influencers, were acting like 8-year-olds bitching about CZ a month ago, maybe they got liquidated, maybe they were getting paid by anti-Binance entities, and Coinbase and Kraken, they realized, okay, it's bad for the industry. They step right in with BNB, so that's like good for public sentiment for the industry. It's is all, and then Trump came in with a pardon after that. Whether Trump had planned it all along or whether he just thought that was the right time because Coinbase and Kraken back CZ, tough to say. But yeah, I agree.
Coinbase backed him after.
I thought it was Coinbase listed BNB and then the pardon happened a couple days later.
No. The rumors came out from the White House that he'd be pardoning him. The second that communique went out was a $1 trillion liquidation, and within a few days, all of the sentiment was bad on Binance. And then Coinbase's response for management was to list BNB. It happened 3, 4, 5 days after the liquid. You can look it up. Look at the actual when the White House said it. You can see that the $1 trillion liquidation happened minutes, if not within the hour. And then a few days later, sentiment was shit. And then the following week-ish, Coinbase is like, our response is to list BNB. Of course it is. Whatever. Yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
We traded all the way through it. We know.
Debbie, what's up?
It's all narratives and spin.
Good morning. Yeah, no, Zach, even with your post last night on X with the altcoins, and two things. I think 100% that, Eric Trump just tells his father, like, what's going to be best for the industry, what's going to be, how is it going to serve Trump Financial? So again, of course, 100% CZ. Now they're in bed together, and it's just like the more power they have, like retail just becomes smaller and smaller. And like, what Mike said about, like the perps and the manipulation, it's vicious though, because it's like, how are you going to catch those parabolic waves? Don't know. But going back to what you said last night on X about, not round tripping and whatnot, and just kind of getting in and out and not being like white knuckling these spot bags for life. And I actually just, not going to say which ones I kind of cut. Not cut. I just kind of rolled into something else, and just just consolidating, getting a little bit smaller and smaller because, like, for example, like HBAR got knocked right off the block at 22 cents. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, just when you start to get that, the juice is flowing, you get hammered, and so instead of just feeling that way, I just feel like, it's kind of like, I think for me, I think it's best to kind of get in and out instead of that holding on for dear life, waiting, at least make a few bucks, and then kind of re-enter and just play the game.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's exactly what I've been trying to do here at this go around. I mean, we talked about it before. Like, altcoins are meant to be traded right now, and I mean, time will tell. You know what I mean? And you know, some people would disagree with that already, and you would have an argument maybe for some of the top, you know, altcoins like ETH. Okay, I could buy that argument. You know, XRP, okay, you know, BNB even. I mean, like some of these top ones, right? But I mean, outside of that, I mean, look how it's played out the last 4 years.
It's such a slow crawl. And here we are, you know, we're waiting for that BTC, you know, at least past 5,000, 5,800, you know, those triggers. It's like we said, we're waiting and waiting. And so instead of just getting so impatient and, you know, selling half your bag at the wrong time, and then, you know, Murphy's Law, the next day it's like it's fucking up, you know, 38%. It's like instead of just getting clobbered and just getting negative, it's kind of best just to get in and out or just, you know, be in stables.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done extremely well if you were in the right plays the last 365 days. Like if you'd have bought, you know, XRP, if you'd have bought Zcash like 2 months ago, if you'd have bought HBAR, XLM, but like who's guessing it right across the board? You know what I mean? I mean, you've literally had like 5 or 6 that you like needed to guess right on. So I mean, the mass majority of people, if they'd have just been buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, they'd look a lot better than their current position right now.
Totally. And what I think is funny is that I can't believe the last FOMC, like I can't believe that was what, 6 weeks ago? Doesn't that feel like it just happened? And it was, again, like the sentiment was flat, you know? Time flies, man. Here we are again today. It's wild.
No, 100%. Yeah, I mean, today will be interesting. I think, you know, we're all expecting a 25 basis point rate cut. I think it's more about what he says, you know, in addition to that. You know,
but I feel like Zach, he doesn't see, just like last time. I feel like he doesn't like to be too positive forward. He kind of just stays in that neutral. You know what I'm saying? That he doesn't want to lean one way. Because I feel like, you know what? Maybe I'm not saying for him exactly, but I don't think he's totally sold yet. And you know what? I think that, you know, as Trump says, oh, we don't want to pick somebody by the end of the year, or, you know, he could be out in a few months. You know, there's so much red tape. He's just going to let it ride till May. You know what I mean? It's like, you're really going to axe that guy after, I mean, it's going to, you know, because if he fights back, and it just becomes a legal shit show, you know, but I don't know. I just feel like he just kind of walks that fine line, and he likes to just not air one way or another, just in addition to kind of getting under Trump's skin. I think he just kind of likes to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he does not like to surprise the markets one way or the other. He's just very sort of even keeled and flat in his tone of voice. It's kind of like a sort of military sort of personality there. But yeah, I agree with you. He doesn't like shocking the markets either way.
SPX, go ahead, man. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy FOMC day, I guess. I'm wondering. I know we're all expecting a 25 basis point cut. Can you imagine if it's going to be 50? But probably not going to happen. Yeah, I think the focus is on the language he uses for forward-looking guidance. But also at the end of the day, I mean, he doesn't have much time left as a Fed Reserve chair. So, you know, I'm wondering if the market is pricing that in. And just one correction I would like to make. Zach, you said that most alts are for trading, but not SPX 6900, because we believe that you don't trade, you just start believing in something. So figured I'd pop that in there. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens today with the FOMC, the earnings from some of the big tech companies, and I'm not sure when the meeting between Trump and Xi is happening. I think maybe tomorrow, after tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I think that might be the biggest catalyst, and hopefully it's going to be good news. So it'll be an interesting week, and I'm hoping it's all positive. So fingers crossed.
There was some good news on soybeans, and you guys are probably wondering, what the hell does soybeans have to do with China and United States? I think Alex was actually talking about it yesterday on her space. But what did I see today? Hold on, let me get it right. But this is like actually a good indicator that some good things are coming. China purchases 180,000 tons of U.S. soybeans in their first order in months as a show of good faith ahead of tomorrow's meeting between President Trump and President Xi. So there you go. Didn't think it would come from that source, but that is a big deal. So
Soybeans, huh? It's all about the soybeans. Go figure.
So that is good news. I did not read that, but yeah, that is definitely good news. Sort of an indicator on this could be resolved pretty soon. This tariff thing. 2 weeks ago, it was not like that. They were still going at each other significantly. So it's a change of tone. I like that.
That's their first big buy of soybeans in months. So, yeah.
Is that the big elephant in the room in terms of tariffs? Like, if this gets resolved, is it pretty much smooth sailing ahead in terms of tariffs? Or I know Canada could be there's still tension with Canada, but I'm not an expert on this, but I'm just wondering if China is the big one, and if we get that resolved, is it pretty much smooth sailing in terms of tariffs? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean,
I'm wondering if anyone knows.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, right, Ben? I mean, they're trying to just get a deal in place. I mean,
China is definitely the big one. And I have noticed any Canada talk doesn't seem to affect the markets, like even strong negative tariff stuff. Like it's just going to shit with them. It doesn't seem to have nearly the effects. I think China's the big one.
All right. Well, fingers crossed that a deal gets made and we can put this whole tariff stuff behind us.
Matt, what's going on, man? All right, we'll go to Mutasko. Mutasko, you there?
Hey, good morning, Zach.
Morning, man. How you doing?
Good. No, I mean, I don't know why people keep setting dates on these things. Just keep it open. And good luck if you want to set a date that, oh my gosh, it has to be at the end of the year, or, is it going to go to Q1, or nobody knows. And I think you will be at a peace of mind if you just keep it rolling. I just noticed the VIX is kind of spiking. And as you all know, the VIX is usually like an indicator of but it's usually like a month ahead, right? So it factors in all of the volatility 30 days ahead. So since we're on the day of the FOMC, it's interesting to see. And I know a lot of people trade on it, so just watch out. It could, right after Jerome Powell, as everybody expects what today's outcome is going to be, to see that dip a little bit. But it's interesting because it's not always the market. It's also geopolitics and inflation and other stuff. So I'm watching that and seeing, I'm trying to understand, why is it doing that? But what I always say is that there are people who, they have access to information, they pay for it. And the way, if you don't have that level of influence, you just want to look at certain indicators and they'll tell you what's going on behind the scenes. So I don't think that today is I think overall a lot of people expect, I think it was last week, Ben was on a space and he was asked questions about altcoins and stuff. Ben himself, he gets really close to the stuff, but he doesn't always nail the stuff, right? So that tells you the amount of effort that Ben puts in his work. And sometimes he misses some things. For example, with altcoins, right? The thing I always try to stay a little bit neutral on his predictions and projections is that, and I've watched him for a while. What I've noticed, and this is a good example because the example happened when Pepe popped out of nowhere. We were literally in the bottom of the bottom. And people like Ben, I was listening to him and he would zoom out on the ETH BTC thing, right? And then says, you know what? So you're going to be down the whole time, blah, blah, blah. And then what happened, and I would call this a curveball or maybe a wild card because that nobody knows, that when Pepe literally came out of nowhere and started running it activated what we call the trenches, right? So you weren't seeing just Pepe, but there were other things that were blowing up, and people were making money off it. Some people were losing money too. So just be careful when people zoom out in a macro and they're telling you, "Hey, focus on this." Underneath the macro, there's also a little, I'll call them low hanging fruits, right? And some of these people, they don't care. They've been here for a while. They're in like capital preservation mode. You can't measure your dipstick with somebody like that, right? I mean, if you made money and all you're doing is preserve your money, there is no value in trying to project that on everybody, not knowing what their circumstances are and why they're trying to be a little bit risky, right? So we'll just see what happens. But my eyes are not even looking at this at the end of the year, right? I'm seeing that, and like what Ben was saying about, I think you were talking about Sheplink and Bitmine. I listened to Tom Lee and Arthur Hayes. I mean, he's done a lot of essays where he's drilled down on all of these things that we're talking about, whether it's the liquidity, the Fed bond market, everything. He's drilled it down. If you read the essays, you know why he's bullish. Now, nothing has changed in terms of what he sees structurally, from the Fed to what actions they may be taking to stimulate the economy, and many alternative tools. Like, they have tools. Some people are focused on one of them, but there are many tools that these guys can deploy. And because of that, when people are claiming that they're bullish, just don't dismiss them, because they have their ways of looking at the market, and they're looking at it as, hey, it's going to be bullish because Bitcoin could go to 250. What if it doesn't? I don't think it matters, because they're probably going to win still, right? And then with the Bitmine thing, I believe, and the reason I'll hold it is because I believe that Bitmine and Tom Lee, they have access to capital. They could buy more Ethereum than I could, right? The speed at which they will accumulate it, I can't do that. And because I can't, maybe I should take a leverage bet on their derivative asset, which is the BMNR, and see what happens, because they will accumulate the accretion on the base asset, which is Ethereum, is going to help you accumulate maybe more Ethereum in a lazy, slow way, right? Not the aggressive way. So I'm still bullish the market, and I think it's going to probably go until like Q2 somewhere. And even when it hits there, remember, historically, it doesn't just collapse. It takes, I don't know, like 300 or something days to finally like literally bottom. So, and there are people who are gonna milk it to the ground, right? There are traders who are specialized in that. They'll figure that out and milk the drawdown to the T. But you don't want to focus on, oh, it's gonna end here. I actually like how pessimistic people are, because the bull market doesn't get parabolic when everybody is pessimistic. Like, oh yeah, it's the end of the, yeah, no, that means that it's actually coming. Because I remember when the market is parabolic, everybody, all of your friends would tell you, go all in. Go all in. This thing is not going down.
Let me
watch
jump
those
in.
signals.
Yeah, let me jump in here, because this is what's interesting to me. We haven't seen a parabolic move in the market. We've always seen one before. That's why this is interesting. And I go by price points. I don't sell Bitcoin, but I am looking to trade a lot of the altcoins. There just hasn't been that many opportunities. I've taken a little profits off XRP. I've taken a little profits off SWI. I've taken a little profits off Zcash. I haven't hit on all of them, but all these things that have run up a little bit, I've won there. But this is why it's interesting, is because if we look at 2017, the top of the cycle was December. If we look at 2021, the top of the cycle was November. So every 4 years, if you're a historical 4-year cycle person, which, I mean, there's people in different camps there, right? But if you're a 4-year cycle person, here we are in 2025, and this is why you have a lot of people saying, well, maybe the top was 126. And if it was, that is very, very different, because Bitcoin has been on a slow grind up. We have not had a parabolic run. 2021 was really weird too. We had a double top. We hadn't seen that before. I mean, so every cycle is slightly different, but one thing that's remained constant, at least in the previous 2 cycles, is we've had some type of parabolic run in Q4. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen a parabolic run at all yet in crypto. And maybe it's because the institutions are here and it's diminishing returns of Bitcoin over time. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a simple answer. Or maybe we're still waiting for the blow off top. Or maybe this is completely different. And like you said, we go into, Q1, Q2 of 2026. But I think this is why it's so chaotic in terms of people's opinions right now. Because every cycle prior, we've had a parabolic moment. We haven't had that yet. It's just been a slow staircase up.
So Zach, I don't know if you're familiar with this. I have this discussion offline with,
and by the way,
my
hold
friends.
on, real quick, I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, by the way. I like the slow staircase up. Opposed to the quick pump and dump, right? I mean,
yeah, it's a very good thing. And just as what Zach Humphreys was saying, so Bitcoin would have had to hit 245,000 like November, December, right now this season to match the percentage increase it had in the last 3 huge pumps, 2021, 2017, 2013. So those days are just over unless we go to 245,000. So it's more of a slow grind up. I think it's definitely more of a good thing than a bad thing that we didn't have the parabolic run up, because what goes up must come down.
And I think that's how Arthur Hayes and Tom Lee are getting their predictions, right? Because, I mean, you see a lot of people putting that 200 to 250 in there. They're basing it off previous cycles, and that's really all you can do. I mean, otherwise, like, you're just, basically shooting from the hip. So you got to go off of history until history, tells you otherwise.
And Zach, like you just said, though, institutions weren't here in the past. It's like, oh, welcome in. This is how crypto rolls. Yeah, things just shoot off, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like sort of this like overcast of neutrality. It's like,
it's almost like
they've got money that's just, it blows us away.
It's almost like it's a real market now.
100%.
It's not just some playground where, you put in $100 and take out $1 million, and then you're sitting on Fox News, talking about how you became an overnight, millionaire. You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's like that's not happening. But it's weird because, I would at least thought we'd see a bigger altcoin move by now, right? But we'll see. I mean, and here's the thing, guys. I mean, it's October 29th right now. A lot can change. I mean, look at October in general. We set an all-time high this month, and it feels like it's all doom and gloom, like, 4 days later.
Because it wasn't real.
What do you mean?
That 126, we were there. They led it with $200 million spoofs, and they pulled them. That
like
wasn't
it's
people
not real
following.
spot
That wasn't
buying.
institutionals buying in spot. That wasn't people buying in size. It wasn't real. When the wicks are hollow, you feel it, and that's where this is.
Yeah,
we felt it going into it. Like when we were longing with all the guys, like we were longing 120 into 124, and I told them all to cut at 124 because that was it. It was over. So when we came back up to 126, we felt it. It was still over. They just wanted to make a pretty chart. So if you look at the wicks, they're hollow. If you look, there's no order book up there. So like they literally just went to get the liquidations and came right back. And it's been down ever since. So when they do that kind of shit that's illegal in most territories, they're going to go the other way. So within about a week, maybe a week and a half, what happened next? The entire market collapsed $1 trillion. So they went the other way. If you guys won't trade, they'll make the market. They'll make you trade.
I also think, Zach, what you just said is influenced by the insider information bubble that is built within this administration. Don't mistake the idea of a handful of sophisticated hedge funds that literally feed off. I mean, we saw this play out in the not an exact comparison, but when you watch Eat the Rich and you see the sophisticated back end coordination that happens between Citadel and I think what's the name of the hedge fund, Melvin Capital or whatever that hedge fund was that got the squeeze with the retail. These people, it's hard to pinpoint who is doing this, but you can understand that we have the tariffs that the Supreme Court is about to decide on, which could throw a massive wrench in the market. I don't know if it'll be bullish or bearish, but that is still a huge overhang because that could
Senate
just.
last night passed one for was it Argentina or whatever it was? Brazil?
What was that?
They passed one last night for the Senate.
That was the Brazil one. That was
meaningless. Five Republican senators crossed the aisle to support it, and it passed.
Meaningless. That's the Brazil.
No,
let me make my
Trump.
point.
It'll have to go to Trump for signature. If he vetoes it, they can redo it again, and they can go. They need 2/3.
No,
which they won't get.
that's not the breakdown. It goes to the House first.
Hold on.
That.
Mutasco first, and then we'll get into a different discussion.
Let me just finish a point quick. What I was saying was that the tariffs, and I think people ignore this, right? For those that do the charting, like you were describing, it's almost like a dashboard. A lot of these things, there's like external factors. And these external factors, like the Trump administration knows, key players within the administration knows, they probably already know the direction where the Supreme Court is headed. Now, if you're going to take out any curveballs from the market, do not ignore that, because the cascading effect of the Supreme Court potentially saying that, hey, we're going to defer back to the appeals court or whatever the lower court decision was. I think it was the International Trade Court decision that says that it's all illegal or whatever. Then what then happens is everything that Trump just said about tariffs, okay, the revenue is up, all that, blah, blah, blah. It's all going to be legally supposed to be a refund to all these companies. The company I work for, I can tell you because I watch the data. I see it in the numbers. It's not small money, guys. A lot of money through U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And I'm saying this because it's not just my company. There's multiple of companies that are expecting that if the Supreme Court goes their way, they're going to initiate collecting that money back. Now, that neutralizes whatever Trump is trying to do at this point. But if it goes Trump's way, either way, right? Maybe it's good for the market. Who knows? But it's unlikely that the Supreme Court will be very clear about going one way or the other. They're going to kind of swim along the line. And when they do, we'll see what the effect is. So don't take that out of the market. That means that we may still have some, extension. That doesn't mean you should give up. I'm just highlighting that because a lot of people have just forgotten about that element.
No, that's a good point. And I mean, but where we are right now, I mean, this just tells me we're clearly in a different market. I mean, so somebody listening on YouTube said, and Power, I appreciate the comment over here. He said, hold on, let me find it here. There's a bunch of comments. He said, so running from 15K to 126K BTC isn't a massive run. Come on, guys. Running from 15K to 126 is parabolic. Okay, yeah, it is. But we were at 15K in 2022.
Thank you.
we got to freaking 126K in 2025. That is different than 2017. That is different than 2021. That is very, very different. So again, yeah, the gains have been there, but again, to my earlier point, it has been a slow staircase up with multiple drawdowns. I mean, we got up to, remember we had like a 35% correction in April, and everybody thought it was over. And then we went parabolic again, right? So this has been different. I mean, if you go back to 2017, give you an idea, okay, in 2017, in June of 2017, we were $2,500 Bitcoin. June of 2017. By November 2017, we were 17K. That's parabolic, right? Or did I fuck that up? By December, from June to December, we went from 2,500 to 17K. You see what I'm saying? Now, again,
I mean, when he took office, we were at 109. We're still around here. So, we haven't really gone anywhere. If we went the other way, we'd already be at $400,000 Bitcoin.
But that's the point. We're not where we used to go. We used to go,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Usually people run to fear assets, gold, Bitcoin, when they fear things. So, yeah, I guess thanks, Joe Biden.
So, in April 2020, we were at 6,800. In April 2020. April 2021, we were at 60,000. That's parabolic in a year's time. So yeah, we've staircased our way up from 15K, the bear market lows, in 2022 to set a new all-time high. This time is different. It's fucking very different. I don't care.
The other one is
says.
compressed with FOMO buying with size. This one has massive OTC deals and they have direct to ETF. So
this is where traders cannot foresee policy. This is where you look at charts and you can't see what's in the news and what's the policy and what will be law. This is what the charts can't tell you, right?
But Clifford, we're not really talking about that.
If you look at what we know,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the last previous markets topped out in 2017 and 2021 around this time. And right now we have yet to see a parabolic run. We have yet to see an altcoin season.
Correct, because it hasn't hit yet. And here's why it will, Zach, and this is where it ties into it. And this is what I'm telling you. Traders looking at the charts aren't going to be able to foresee this. End of wars, rate cuts, tariff deals, ETF approvals, regulatory clarity, stimulus checks. That's what traders aren't going to see on the charts. That's what's coming. That's not here yet.
All the money. A concise narrative for me.
That's not a narrative, dude.
Okay,
that's literally in the
news. Since 2022, so.
Okay, well, I mean, in 2022 did we have regulatory clarity sitting with the Senate currently then, or no?
These are all trailing indicators to backfill their bags. They're already in.
Did we have that or no? Clarity Act was proposed in 2022. Yes or no?
I can appreciate and speculate. We were already given the innovation window. Trump tried to restart the innovation window for another 15 years, and that's the only reason why we've started moving.
Did we have the Clarity Act?
Which I would like to defer.
Bro, I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm not even going to argue with you because it's not a narrative. It's law, dude. It's law. It's not narrative. It's law. There was no proposal for a Clarity Act and regulatory framework in 2022 for crypto. Period.
So I think what Zach's arguing, Clifford, is cool. We got the law in, but they're already in. It's not unlocking new capital.
It's not in though. It's not in.
No, he means the institutions are in. So I think that's
not all of them. Not all of them, guys. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines waiting for regulatory clarity. I'm telling you,
in their sandboxes.
Whatever. There's whatever.
You have $7 trillion sitting in Fidelity Sandbox for cash flow holdings accounts because it goes into TradFi products, not crypto.
Where's Vanguard?
Letting go of their CEO because he was anti-crypto.
Okay. Well,
that took a month.
Vanguard's on the sidelines.
It's going to be interesting, and maybe this is just a whole different market now, and the 4-year cycles are completely out the window. I mean, there are a lot of signs that are pointing to that.
The easiest way to conceptualize this is it's the housing market. And what happened to the housing market in the last 10 years? TradFi got their grubby little hands on it, and they started manipulating price. They started manipulating mortgages. They started manipulating interest rates. They're doing the same thing on crypto. They're manipulating the supply, playing with over-the-counter deals with no buy pressure with size on the order book. They're also manipulating the price with the quant firms with the high-frequency trading at Jane Street, at Wintermute, with Binance as a market maker between the intermediaries and like 4 other firms around the world, offshores where you can never find them. They manipulate volumes, they manipulate the price, they manipulate the order book, they manipulate whatever they need to make whatever they need to do. We're just the ancillary surfer going by on the wave. Like we barely matter, respectfully. So like it used to be where we mattered because we would trade it. We mattered because we knew the whales coming in. We saw the waves. We were a part of the waves. Like we actually were in on Ethereum sub $100 or Bitcoin sub $1,000 or Solana sub $20. It mattered. Now it doesn't matter because we are no longer the customer that can afford Bitcoin at 100 grand a pop. AUM can afford Bitcoin, but they're not going to pay that kind of spot. So they're going to go to Coinbase and say, I want this much size and I want to pay this specific price with no slippage. If they go to Coinbase in their order book and they say, I want $1 billion in Bitcoin, we're going to 140. We're going to 200. We're going to 1 million fast.
So Zach, are you saying the party's over? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you better put on some wine because it's going to be a minute.
Just say, is it over or not?
It's not. Things are not binary, Clifford. They're not in your reality.
Is the market done or not? Just answer that.
Like Zach keeps trying to tell you. He's said it again and again and again. It's not the market it once was.
I think what Zach's
No, it's
saying is
not.
we're not going to have the parabolic moves because
Right.
we're having a ton of the OTC deals. I mean, Cliff, to this point, right? So I just read this off at the beginning of the space. How much ETH did Tom Lee just buy? Hold on, let me find it. Tom Lee.
Let me see on the order book. Did we moon? Oh no, wait. It was at OTC.
So this is the point that Zach's making, and I think it's a good one. I'm bullish on crypto. Don't hear me wrong here, because I think people like immediately go toward, oh my gosh, you're bullish or you're bearish. No, we're saying that it's going to be a longer term game now. Tom Lee just bought. Where the hell's the number? What the fuck? Hold on.
Hold on, let me check for the Godwick on the chart. Oh wait, it's not there.
Yeah, but no, like Zach. So what you're saying is, are we not going to see those days? Like, are you?
So Clifford.
We'll see a liquidation cascade. We'll see like the occasional nation state clip in.
Yeah.
We've seen people clip in. Like that's not a thing. I'm not saying there's no clip in happening or there's no clip out happening. Galaxy Digital, they went to OTC all over the place. They're like, hey, we want to dump this much Bitcoin, and everyone's like, are you crazy? So they're like, no one asked what they were going to do with it. They just said, "Are you crazy?" And they're like, "Fine, we'll just do it on the market." And they did. They time weighted sells out, and you saw Bitcoin drop like 5, 6, 7%, whatever it was.
Please clip this for speaking of clips. Please clip this someone for 6 months from now, please.
Dude, we're not saying we're bears.
I'm just telling you.
All I'm saying is, if they weren't buying over the counter. Should Ethereum be 10K right now if Bitcoin's 126,000? Where should Ethereum be, Cliff?
They wanted ETFs, they wanted OTC, and now they got it.
It's not there. It's not there. It's not there because Bitmine buys 113 million in ETH yesterday, and it did nothing.
Show me on the chart.
It did zero. It did zero on the chart.
Show me on the chart.
OTC. That's the point we're making.
And so what happens when there's not any OTC funds?
We need retail.
You think BlackRock is going to allow Coinbase to give up that?
We
They're
need
the wholesale
retail.
Costco of crypto.
What happens?
Retail buys spot. Retail buys spot.
BlackRock manages their book, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I said, clip this for 6 months from now, and we'll come back to this.
I got a question. We wanted the institutions. Now, is this something like we kind of regret now? Because
Yep.
institutions are here.
They're buying OTC. They're not buying on the chart.
Yep.
I mean, I thought this was going to be good for crypto, and I guess it's not really.
Once again, maxi narrative.
But Tyler,
That's not my narrative.
No, not you. Where it came from.
I think it is good long term. It's bad for the people who want to get rich fast.
yeah, that's the
point.
I think Zach AC is talking about their sandbox. The sandbox, as you think of it, could be the OTC deals, but the OTC also has a supplier. The suppliers of the OTC are people that at some point they'll say, no, we're not selling. Now, where will the institutions buy? They have to buy off the market. Now, this is where I think, I just posted some data, the almighty Bitcoin model that is saying that we could hit like by end of year 210 to 250. It's possible, but how long is that going to stay? Nobody knows. And who cares if it hits 250, right? The point is, how big is the market then, right? And there's another model that literally thought this based on, I think it's the exponential decay. I've been posting this countlessly because I think if you ignore that and you're speaking about anything else, then maybe you don't know what you're talking about. But this is a data that shows from 2009 to the last all-time high we had in Bitcoin before the halving. And this person has been tracking this to the T and still not sure yet if Bitcoin has hit a high. He thought 73K was the high, and it has not been, right? And just this morning, Michael Saylor is on CNBC saying by end of year, Bitcoin will hit 150K. It's not if, it's when. These are people that actually control the OTC market. So I'm not saying follow Michael Saylor. I'm just saying Bitcoin going higher is just something that we have to expect. It would happen.
Matasco, to get to 150, if Michael Saylor's saying that, honestly, he'll buy it over the counter just to get it up.
Oh, my Lord. 150K makes sense for the maxi and the TradFi narratives because 10x from the 15K bottom. That I'm okay with that. I don't care. But I just don't know how they're going to get us there. That's my largest point for now. With the OTC AUM slush that they keep doing to each other because they can just name their price and we have no visibility. It's basically what do they call it? A dark pool, if you will. But that's what CZ's trying to do too. He's trying to build out more dark pools. I think actually Aster was an option. You can click on it when you're trading. You can option to go into a dark pool with size. The reason why they do that is so that way you can't see them on CoinGlass for their liquidation levels, and they can spoof without us knowing.
So is that covered in the Clarity Act?
You think that matters?
I just want to know if you know. Is it covered?
No.
We'll
They
see.
don't even think,
Right?
I'm gonna quote him. My boys. I know a lot about crypto. My boys have wallets.
In the Clarity Act, I don't think that when it comes to dark pools, I think Wall Street has had they're hitting 12 or 15% now. All trades on Wall Street go through dark pools. So it's not a new thing. I don't think there's some exemptions that allow these people to do what they do. I mean, even if they say dark pool, it's dark pool in your eyes, but it's actually a black and white pool for some whitelist market maker that is in-house that knows what they're doing. So because they don't want to get blown out, so they should also have visibility. So dark pool or no dark pool, somebody knows what's going on the back end. You just have to understand that that's just a game. But I believe that where we're at right now, again, some of these things may be priced in or not. We don't know. It does look like what you're saying, Clifford. The Democrats are probably bent on just derailing the Clarity Act. I don't know what confidence, what's his name, Brian Armstrong has on this getting there. But these people are throwing all kinds of grenades trying to halt this for whatever reason. So I don't know. I'm not putting any bets on it. If they give it to us, good for them. I could care less whether it comes or not. I wouldn't also use it as a basis for saying, you know what, this has to happen for this to happen. No, because I've seen it before. I've sat in here. I've watched the entire machine of the government go after Bitcoin, crypto, everything. Yet Bitcoin pulled off an all-time high, even before it's halving. So I don't think they have any material effect on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to do something, Bitcoin will do something. Unfortunately for them, they don't get to control the market. Like I think Zach AC was talking about, people underestimate Binance's impact on this market, right? Thank God it's not JP Morgan, right? So I will watch and see what plays out, but I'm not gonna, rely on some regulation or, because before that even happens, somebody would have milked out.
Well, I don't understand the argument of extended cycle if you don't have law with regulatory clarity. Then, if that's the case, what is the argument? What is the argument?
Regardless, though, Clifford,
Well,
the extension
why
would
would
have
it?
happened.
Why would it though? Why would it though?
Well,
Why wouldn't
there's
this be
different
one,
factors.